They came to conquer. They arrived on a Thursday. Across Earth skies, thunder boomed with no storm, followed by streaks of fire, ships burning through the atmosphere. In less than 10 minutes, cities lost power. Satellites blinked out. Communications fell silent. The Rilzek Empire had arrived, and they weren't interested in negotiation. Over Washington, D.C., a colossal obsidian vessel hovered like a scar against the sky. Its gravity engine howled low and constant, making birds fall from the air. Below, streets filled with chaos. Civilians ran, screamed, fought to survive. The first wave of landers deployed towering armored walkers and floating suppression drones that stunned anything that moved. From her rooftop vantage, Sergeant Lena Morales watched the Capitol dome burst into fire. She ducked low, dragging a bleeding teenager behind an air conditioning unit. "Stay down. Don't move unless I say," she ordered. Her military instincts, dulled by a year of desk work, kicked back in with terrifying clarity. She'd survived 2 tours in the Middle East. She'd never seen anything like this. The Rilzek came with precision. They moved like they had done this 100 times on 100 different planets. Because they had. Humanity was just another acquisition, another species to catalog and file away beneath imperial control. But they'd miscalculated. Badly. "Sergeant," a voice crackled over the shortwave Lena salvaged from police cruiser. "You alive?" "Barely." "Who is this?" "Captain Rowe, Fort Detrick. We're still holding. 3 squads left. DC is lost." Lena looked up at the smoldering skyline. "Not yet, it isn't." Across the city, pockets of resistance began to spark. A former firefighter hijacked a Rilzek transport and drove it straight into a walker's legs. A construction crew used a crane like a spear, impaling an enemy drone in mid-air. Civilians looted camping stores, hospitals, and abandoned police precincts, not for chaos, but to survive. Meanwhile, in orbit above Earth, High Marshal Vazatel surveyed the chaos. His mandibles twitched in annoyance. "These primitives are excessive," he muttered. "No order, no discipline." His adjutant, a younger Rilzek officer, studied a blinking map filled with red flags. "We expected faster submission. Resistance is highly irregular. Typical Death World reaction, always screaming before they die." But they didn't die. Not easily. In a scorched alley, Lena rallied half a dozen survivors. Cops, a nurse, a delivery driver. No one trained. All willing. "We're not soldiers," someone whispered. Lena loaded her rifle. Neither were they before today. Welcome to the war. The aliens thought they were bringing peace through domination. But Earth didn't bow. It bled, bit, and struck back. The Rilzek Empire had taken its first misstep. They just didn't know it yet. The resistance spreads. The world didn't fall. It adapted. 1 week after the Rilzek invasion began, Earth was a battlefield of ash and fire, but not silence. Humanity had scattered, bled, and regrouped. In the ruins of cities and deep in rural woods, something ancient stirred. Resistance. Not from governments or armies, they had been the first targets. This was something older, messier, and more dangerous. It came from the people. In Chicago, resistance fighters weaponized the city's ancient subway tunnels, ambushing patrols with homemade explosives and fire. In the mountains of Pakistan, tribes used centuries of guerrilla knowledge to lure walkers into terrain they couldn't navigate. In Lagos, hackers took over abandoned satellites to jam Rilzek communication on Earth's surface. Each effort, small in scale, was colossal in impact. Sergeant Lena Morales and her ragtag crew had moved south, evading patrols and coordinating with other resistance groups. They found refuge in the Appalachian Hills, inside an old coal mine that had been converted into a survivalist bunker years before. There, she met Malik Hariri, a cybercriminal turned freedom fighter. "They think they broke the network," Malik said, his fingers dancing over a keyboard powered by car batteries. "They killed the internet. But not all of it." Lena raised a brow. "You've got signal." "I've got a signal they don't control. Pirate net. Shortwave repeaters. And guess what? The rest of the world is screaming back." He pulled up grainy footage, resistance fighters in Tokyo using mirrors to blind drones, South American farmers planting IEDs under alien convoy routes. Footage of a group in France using laser cutting tools to break into a Rilzek supply ship. And then, one image that froze Lena. A child, 10, maybe 11, stood atop a fallen alien walker, holding a slingshot and a flaming bottle. Behind him, the walker burned. The image had already been converted into hundreds of memes and slogans. Earth fights back. They are trying to suppress it, Malik said. But that picture, it's already off-world. The slaves on Yalara saw it. The miners on Crinvel too. Even Rilzek grunts are talking about it. Are you saying Earth started a revolution? Lena asked. Malik grinned. No, I'm saying we are the revolution. Above Earth, High Marshal Tell slammed a claw into a holotable. Reports of uprisings were pouring in from across the Empire. His voice was sharp with disbelief. This planet is backward, uncoordinated, under-equipped. But not broken, his adjutant whispered. The humans have turned resistance into contagion. Tell seethed, then bayed them all. Back on Earth, Lena and her team prepared to strike a Rilzek outpost. She checked her rifle, nodded to her team, and said the words that had become their motto. They came to conquer. Let's remind them whose planet they stepped on. The Empire cracks. The Rilzek didn't lose wars. Until Earth. Across the galaxy, the unthinkable was happening. Worlds long held under the Empire's iron grip began to stay. Whispered rumors of Earth's defiance became rallying cries. A spark lit in the darkness, and it wasn't going out. On the jungle moon of Veltrix, enslaved miners sabotaged their overseers and took over the refineries. On the aquatic world of Jannah, deep-dwelling engineers flooded Rilzek domes with seawater. And in the slave colonies of Yalara, entire garrisons were ambushed by former servants wielding stolen shock lances and crude weapons inspired by Earth's resistance tactics. The galaxy wasn't watching Earth anymore. It was imitating it. In the shattered remains of Atlanta, Lena Morales stood atop a captured Rilzek transport, binoculars scanning the horizon. A weeks-long campaign of sabotage had led to this moment. An opening in the enemy's orbital shield generator. Malik's voice came through her earpiece. We've got less than 5 minutes before they rear out the drones. You'll go. Lena nodded. Team 2, hit the eastern relay. Blow it sky high. Team 3, give me cover on that ridge. She turned to the small group behind her, doctors, students, a former Uber driver, and 2 alien defectors with burn scars from past beatings. Today, she said, we don't just fight for Earth. We fight for every world they've stepped on. Then they charged. The assault was brutal and fast. Makeshift railguns fired from scavenged car batteries. A hacked alien walker stomped through their own front lines. Lena moved like fire, clearing hallways with swift, brutal precision. Inside the control chamber, Malik plugged in his device, a Frankenstein mix of alien and human tech. Sparks flew. Uploading virus, now. The moment it activated, the sky changed. Above Earth, Rilzek command ships blinked. One by one, their systems jammed. Some shut down entirely. Others started firing at the wrong targets. Underscore 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 underscore. High Marshal Tell watched in horror from orbit as 2 of his cruisers turned on each other. Screams filled the comms. Static replaced orders. Sabotage, he bellowed. His adjutant turned pale. It's Earth code, sir. Their software infected our systems. That's impossible. No, sir. It's human. Tell slammed his fist on the command console, fracturing it. But even that couldn't stop what came next. A message. Broadcast on every channel, in every language. Lena Morales' voice. You invaded our world. You broke our cities. But you didn't break us. Now we're breaking you. Across 100 systems, oppressed peoples rose. Collapse and rebirth. The Empire died not with a roar, but with 1,000 screams of rebellion. From the throne world of Caraxes to the ice mines of Denth, The cracks had become fractures. Former slaves, servants, and soldiers, all inspired by Earth's defiance, rose against their Rilzek masters. Entire systems broke free overnight. On Earth, the final Rilzek fleet was still in orbit, wounded but dangerous. But now, humanity had allies. Lena Morales stood on the bridge of a stolen Rilzek dreadnought, its controls patched with human-made interfaces and scavenged touchscreens. Around her were fighters from Earth, Veltrix, and Jannah, aliens who had once feared the Empire and now bore its insignia as trophies. Enemy fleet approaching, Malik reported, working beside a Jannah tech with bioluminescent skin. They are trying one last push. Let them come, Lena said. We push back harder. The battle over Earth was swift and brutal. Coordinated strikes from human fighters crippled Rilzek engines. AI-driven drones, fueled by Earth code and alien tech, slipped past their defenses. The dreadnought Lena commanded fired a pulse cannon directly into the enemy flagship, splitting it in two. The last Rilzek ship fell burning into the Pacific. Cheers erupted across Earth and far beyond. On the throne world, the Emperor was dead, strangled in his private chambers by his own guards. High Marshal Tell was arrested during a mutiny and dragged before a hastily formed war tribunal composed of rebels and former vassals. He was forced to listen to testimonies from miners, soldiers, and children across the galaxy. Each tale carried pain. Each one mirrored Earth's story. You thought Earth was a prize, the Jannah councilwoman said. It was your ruin. He was sentenced to exile, alone, powerless, and watched. Back on Earth, Lena walked through what remained of the DC Mall. The Capitol dome had collapsed, now surrounded by tents and scaffolding. Rebuilding had begun. You're famous now, Malik said, approaching with a grin. They are calling you the Flame of Earth. They want you on the new Galactic Council. Lena shook her head. Let someone else do the talking. I've had enough politics. What then? She looked up at the stars, clear, for the first time in weeks. We rebuild. Earth first. Then we help the rest. Already, supplies were arriving from liberated worlds. Food, medicine, technology Earth had never dreamed of. But what Earth gave back was even more potent, the will to resist. Across the galaxy, statues of Rilzek tyrants were torn down. In their place, new symbols rose, one of them a small bronze sculpture of a child with a slingshot, standing atop a burning walker. The war was over, but something greater had begun. A voice echoed across the stars, spoken in 1,000 languages but rooted in one home. They invaded Earth. Now their empire is collapsing, and we're building something stronger.